Meet the host of SDH.Singles Live and also the author of Sacred Goddess, available now on Amazon.com. Here is a review from a podcast on Sacred Goddess. Let's dive in.
So glad you could join us as we take another deep dive. And this time, we're really diving into something special by Shirley Denise Horton. And she calls herself, get this, the Sacred Goddess.
Wow.
So we're going to kind of unpack all of that today, right?
Definitely.
I mean, her story, it touches on so much: faith, resilience, relationships.
Yeah, and she doesn't shy away from the tough stuff. Like, some of her relationships are complicated, to say the least.
Well, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Right.
You get this glimpse into her life,
Yeah.
and she's so open and honest about her experiences. But through it all, there's this theme, this idea she keeps coming back to.
You mean like a spiritual boss?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
What does that even mean? We're going to find out. And remember that steakhouse story? Oh, yeah, buckle up, because that's coming. But first, let's start with Shirley herself.
Yeah.
She's got this amazing way of describing herself.
Well, she's definitely a woman of faith.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's woven into everything she does.
And she's strong,
yeah.
mentally.
Oh, yeah, she's got that inner strength, for sure. But then there's this creative side, too. She's got this unique way of expressing herself, and she says she's a spiritual boss. Which, okay, I gotta ask, what is a spiritual boss?
Well, the way Shirley defines it, it's someone who's grounded in their faith, totally dedicated to God's purpose, and get this, capable of creating this, like, luxurious, peaceful home environment.
So it's not just like a business thing.
No, it's way deeper than that. It's about how you live your whole life.
So, enter the steakhouse.
Right.
Steak 48, right? Fancy place.
Oh, yeah, very high end.
And Shirley's there on a solo date with herself, which I love. Talk about self-love, right?
Absolutely. She's very intentional about her life, focused on her growth, fulfilling her purpose.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
She's enjoying her meal, the ambiance, everything. And then this man walks up. She describes him as like a fine chocolate specimen. And get this, he asks if he can share her table.
Wow, bold move.
Right. But Shirley, being Shirley, she says yes. I mean, why not?
And I guess they hit it off.
Oh, they totally hit it off. Conversation's flowing. The date's extravagant. He insists on paying. Even invites her out again the next day. Sounds like a whirlwind romance, right?
It does. So far, so good.
But remember that term love bombing?
Oh, yeah. Not good.
Shirley starts to pick up on those vibes. Like, things aren't quite adding up.
So what happens?
Well, first there's this phone, right? Like, it's always in his hand. A constant distraction. And then come the questions. But not the good kind. It's more like he's probing.
Probing for what?
I think for weaknesses.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, but not in a good way.
And how does Shirley react to all of this?
Okay, so this is where you really see her strength. She doesn't panic. She doesn't freak out. Instead, she starts observing, trusting her intuition. Remember, she's a spiritual boss.
Right. Always got to trust that inner voice.
And then, get this, she finds a tracking device on her car. Like a real, actual tracking device.
Oh.
I know. Chills, right? Like, this guy is way too intense.
That's scary. And it really makes you think about vulnerability, Like, how do we open ourselves up to love without putting ourselves in danger?
That's the question, isn't it? And for Shirley, this situation really forced her to confront that. Like, even a spiritual boss can be a target.
Wow, yeah. That's a tough lesson.
It is. But a necessary one, So, okay, fast forward a few months, living her best life, shopping, and bam, guess who she runs into?
Mr. Chocolate Specimen.
The one and only. But he's not alone.
Oh.
He's with another woman. And you know what Shirley does? She doesn't miss a beat. When he awkwardly asks her to introduce them, she just says, "My name is doing lovely without him."
Oh,
walks away.
that-
I know, right? Mic drop moment.
That's Shirley. She's got that confidence, like self-assurance.
And you can tell she's turned that pain into something positive, like fuel for her growth. But this steakhouse guy, it wasn't just about a sassy comeback. She actually analyzes his behavior later.
What do you mean?
She calls him a shark,
A shark.
like he was preying on her vulnerability.
That's a powerful image.
It is. And I think it's a warning to all of us.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the red flags, trust your gut.
And don't let anyone dim your shine.
Exactly. And it brings us to this really crucial part of Shirley's message. Self-love, recognizing those red flags, and staying true to yourself in relationships.
Yeah, that's so important, especially when you're going through something difficult.
And this steakhouse experience, it actually becomes a lesson for another important relationship in her life.
Really? Which one?
The one with her son. And that's a whole other layer to this story that we're going to dive into. But first, we're going to take a quick break. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
This newly built, beautiful luxury high-rise building soaring 40 stories tall is designed to provide an unparalleled sensation of high-rise living in a residential tower of Houston. Today, we'll be touring a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,853 square feet luxury apartment home. I like to dance to the beat of my own drum, so we're going to do a backwards tour. Back to your regular scheduled program.
It's like she's saying, write your own story.
Exactly.
So she's a spiritual boss, but she's also like a spiritual mentor.
To her son and to her readers.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that, too. She talks about the power of community.
Especially for women.
This idea of a sisterhood.
Women supporting each other, lifting each other up. It's like an extension of that spiritual boss energy, but on a collective level.
It's like you don't have to go through it alone.
You've got your tribe.
To share your wisdom, to celebrate your wins.
And that's so important because it's easy to feel isolated sometimes.
It is. So we've talked about Shirley's spiritual journey, her relationships, her parenting. But there's another side to her that we haven't really touched on.
Oh, you mean her creative side?
Exactly.
The unique way of expression she talks about.
So she's a writer, obviously.
Yeah, amazing writer.
But she also mentions film production.
And fashion.
It's like creativity is just part of who she is.
It's not just a hobby, you know, it's how she connects with herself.
Yeah.
And how she shares her perspective with the world.
And she encourages everyone to find their own outlet.
Whatever it may be. It's about tapping into that creative potential we all have.
Letting it flow.
And you know what's really interesting? This emphasis on creative expression, it actually connects with another part of her story.
You mean the financial independence part?
Yes.
This is where the boss and spiritual boss really comes out.
Right. It's about taking control of your destiny.
Not just spiritually, but financially too.
It's a side of her we haven't explored yet.
And trust me, it's inspiring.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, she talks about the lessons she's learned.
The importance of perseverance.
Never giving up.
It's like that spiritual boss mindset.
She's taking charge, making things happen.
And encouraging others to do the same.
I love that. It's so empowering. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Shirley's world, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
I want them to remember that they have the power to define what spiritual boss means for them. It's not about fitting into a mold. It's about creating a life that reflects their values, their passions, their purpose,
and taking control
of their finances, their relationships, their creativity, their spiritual journey.
It's about finding that balance,
inner peace and outer abundance,
spiritual growth and practical skills.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Find your tribe, build your community,
support each other.
Shirley's story is a reminder that even in a world that can feel chaotic, we can all be spiritual bosses.
In our own unique ways.
And go out there, create the life you desire.
Embrace your journey.
Never stop learning and growing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
into the incredible world of Shirley Denise Horton, the sacred goddess.
We hope you're feeling inspired
to embrace your own journey
of self-discovery
and empowerment.
Until next time.